Good Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. It is the morning break on this beautiful Monday, September 15th. I hope you had a great weekend. Whatever you did, wherever you went. I hope you went to church. Of course, gotta get that plug in. Hope you went to church. Kristen and I got a chance to be down near Cincinnati and shared the word. Had a great time at Liberty Tabernacle. It was fantastic. Enjoyed it so very much. And thanks so much to the great team there who had us. Kristen sang and spoke, and we appreciate them so very, very much. It was a lot of fun. And you know that, of course, I love talking about travel. Travel is one of those things that, for me, I enjoy. I really enjoy it. And over the weekend, I reignited something that I had forgotten that I liked, and that is hotel waffles. I think I like it. It makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something, because you gotta make the waffle yourself. Now you also have to be very careful, and I realized that again this weekend. Those waffle irons get hot, and the other thing is, unless you really get good at it, getting that waffle out of there without it sticking to everything, oh gosh, that is a challenge in itself. But it was a good weekend. We had a great time. And just, if you follow me on Instagram or any place like that, I posted some stuff over the weekend about it. And it's neat to get to experience other churches. Hey, check out your weather. 5 cities that we think you should know the weather about. By the way, Chicago's going to be 80 today, mid-September, and 80 degrees. That's nice. Seattle, 69 and rain. What a shock. Or cloudy is what it's saying. But I love talking about travel, and we've got a great guest, by the way, today on the show. And I jumped ahead because I saw the weather. But Jody Paul is going to be with us. Jody is, of course, on Abundant TV with Falls Count Anywhere. I have threatened to put him in a choke slam. He laughed at me, and so did I. We both laughed. But hey, I wanted to talk about this. This is kind of interesting, and I get your opinion on this. When you fly, do you just fly to fly? Because there's different ways people think of this. Some people fly just to fly. They get it out of the way, and that's not really part of their trip. Then you have the other people who experience flying, who like the whole flying thing. And the question here is, because I'm in the second group. I'm a very loyalist to one certain airline, and I love that. I actually have a credit card from that airline, and that includes some perks that are pretty neat all the time. But for a lot of people, and one study I saw today when I was doing the research for this, over 50% of people don't care. They just want the cheapest price, which I find kind of interesting, because brand loyalty to me in a lot of ways is always very important. But this may change your tune even if you're brand loyal. Allegiant Airlines. Now, I have a nickname for Allegiant Airlines that was actually told to me by a pilot from another airline. I'm not going to say it, but it includes tape in the nickname that they have. But they have a thing that they just announced today, actually this morning, that they are going to do starting in 2026, February 2026. You're going to be able to get fares as low as $39 nonstop. Would that change your Allegiant? Get it? I thought that was clever. But it wouldn't. It would not for me. And I've done all the things. Like when I started in travel long time ago, when they were still using propellers. That's a joke. Though I have flown on some propeller planes. The thing is, I was not very brand loyal. And then I really started to travel a lot more, like 100 plus days a year. And I became very brand loyal. And like I said, I have a credit card with them that allows me to have access to their Sky Clubs. You know who it is now. And it does. For me, it's like a really important thing to be brand loyal in that way. Because my trip, and Krista and I talk about this, my trip starts when I enter the airport. That to me is the start. Once I get to that point, that's vacation or business trip, whatever it is, that's where it starts for me. And I just eh, I'm sorry if you don't think that way, that's cool. I have relatives who could care less. You could tie them to the wing, they would care less what airlines they're on. I'm just not that way. It's just not my thing. I get kind of travel to me. I guess I've been stranded way too many times by airlines that at one time I was loyal to or semi loyal to, and they just left me. Chicago is a great example of that, and you can figure out which airlines flies out of there. They stranded me for over a day. Great coffee. Can't blame them too much though. I got Chicago style pizza while I was there, so that did kind of offset the situation. Hey, listen, we'd like to thank the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee, 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 and order some great coffee. I'm drinking the dark roast right now. It is amazing. Around the corner, right after this, Jody Paul from Falls Count Anywhere. We're going to talk wrestling, life, and just about everything else. We're going to do that after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Seven Weeks Coffee, 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order great coffee. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and I've done this before, and I'll tell you again. Remember to do the variety pack the first time, because I like dark coffee, dark roast coffee. That doesn't mean you will. And it means that you should try them all out. Get the 4-pack. It's all their 4 blends. Go to 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. There is a great show called Falls Count Anywhere. My buddy Jody Powell does that show. Here he is. There he is, having a great morning. Are you caffeinated?
I am fully caffeinated, which is dangerous for this show.
Sounds awesome. I'm excited. Hey, of course, as I already said, Falls Count Anywhere every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time here on the network. And we have a great time. I love watching the show because of the bow ties.
Yeah, the bow ties are a lot of fun. I've got to get some more. I've kind of worn out the red and the blue and the green. The sequins, of course, are a trademark of the gentleman Jody Powell. But I got to get some more. I had it's funny. I'm here. I've got them like right here in my desk drawer, just in case I need them. The bow ties come out, in special occasions.
I'm not even gonna ask. I was like, why do you keep them in your desk? But then
because this is where we do the show. I mean, I gotta be ready to go.
You've got wardrobe in your desk. Is what
yes, this is my office. This is my dressing room. This is my recording studio. This is everything, Rob. It's right
Yes,
here in
I
the little room.
understand completely. I completely get that. And but tell everybody a little bit about the show. We're going to start there, and then I want to go through some of your journey and stuff that you've done. But start with the show. Maybe somebody that hasn't watched yet, which they should. It is one of the highly ranked shows on our network. But tell everybody a little bit about Falls Count Anywhere, and you've got a co-host the whole thing. Tell everybody about it.
Yeah, Falls Count Anywhere came from this idea of wanting to have a wrestling talk show, but I wanted it to be more than that, Rob. I've always had a passion for men's mental health, especially for Christian men who are just trying to figure out how to live in this crazy world. And so we talk wrestling, we talk about what's going on in the WWE, we talk about the wrestling that's presented right here on Abundant TV, but also one of my favorite parts of the show, and Mike Buchanan, the mad scientist, my co-host, good buddy, we both say this. Our favorite part of the show is the final segment called Finding Tomorrow, where we talk about just topics that really help Christians kind of connect the Word of God to what's going on in the world. And it's so important. And sometimes it's topics about, how to just really keep going. Sometimes there are topics that connect world events that are going on. And we're just wrapping up a series right now where we're talking about the armor of God and going through Ephesians 6 and taking each part of that and applying it to how in the world can we, particularly as men, but as any Christian that's just struggling to figure out connecting the Word of God and what God has for us in our lives and the plan that He has laid out for us to what's going on in the world, what's going on in our lives, and really trying to bring that together. And so it's a little bit of wrestling. It's a little bit of wrestling with the world. And we're true wrestling fans at heart, and we get into it and we talk about it. But we don't lose sight of the fact that a lot of people are wrestling with a lot of different things outside of professional wrestling.
So give me the first time Jody saw wrestling. How old were you?
5 years old. I was 5 years old. I was with my grandmother, and she was the quintessential old lady wrestling fan. In her heart, it was real, and she loved the good guys, and she could not stand the bad guys, which is actually one of the reasons that I became a fan of the Four Horsemen, is because I just wanted to be a little contrarian, right? I know. I mean, Ric Flair was my guy, and she could not stand him. And so it gave us an opportunity to bond and connect. And I was hooked from there. And then, growing up, wrestling would always come. It was back in the days of the territories, Rob. I mean, we were right here, and I'm in South Carolina, so we were right in the middle of Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, and where the Horsemen were born. I truly believe that the world of professional wrestling really started to blow up between Greenville, South Carolina, and Greensboro, North Carolina. And that's kind of like the wrestling road. And these guys would go up and down the road, Greenville Monday, Asheville Tuesday, Greensboro Wednesday, and they're traveling back and forth. And it just became something that I just stuck with. And for so many years, I thought, I have all of this useless knowledge about wrestling, whether it's history or facts or, remembering guys that would perform or angles, whatever it is. And I thought, I've got all of this useless knowledge that I'll never, ever use. And God just kind of laughed and said, oh, yes, you will. And he put me in this position, not only to be part of Falls Count Anywhere, but to be part of Wrestling for Christ and to be part of other wrestling organizations and doing things to talk about wrestling and tying those to a ministry, which is, it's just a little mind boggling when you think about it.
And I think that I love what you said, because I love that the connection. I think the connection in wrestling is usually it's a family member who introduced you. And then you kind of spend that time with my dad. My dad's background, he was an athlete at University of Minnesota. And so I grew up around a lot of the wrestlers, including, though I never got to meet Ric Flair, which is sad. For all you people out there that don't really know wrestling and think Ric Flair is from North Carolina, I hate to break it to you. He is from Minnesota. He is a Minnesota. Almost all, if you really think about it, that whole generation, almost all those guys were from the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. So from the 5-year-old Jody to now,
Mm.
who is the one wrestler that you have met that the 5-year-old Jody would be super excited about?
Oh, wow. That I've met. Um, I just recently had the opportunity to meet Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express. And, 5-year-old Jody well, it wasn't 5-year-old Jody at that point. It's probably 10, 12-year-old Jody back in the mid 80s. Absolutely had the bandanas and was rock and roll is king. And Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express were the greatest things since sliced bread. And I had the opportunity to meet Ricky Morton just recently. It's interesting to think about wanting to meet some of these athletes. And I've had the opportunity to meet several pro wrestlers that I've watched on television. And this, Rob, just from your days in media, when you meet some of these people who you watch on TV, you watch on or you listen to on the radio, you feel like there's going to be this awe-inspiring moment. And what you realize is that they're just people just like you and I. They're normal people who struggle with the same things, who talk about the same things, who have, the same conversations. I heard you talking about travel. I used to travel a lot with my job, and I'm in the airport on the phone with my wife talking about things that are going on in the family and things that are going on with our kids or whatever. These are the same things that these people face. And it's really important, I think, for us as Christians to understand that no matter how famous or no matter how popular, no matter who people are, everyone struggles with the same things. And they're no different than you or I when it comes to those battles that they face.
Oh, and that's, I think that's super important to remember, is no matter where they are, and that goes for any field. If you're a singer or if you're a performer of any kind, hey, listen, this is what, in a lot of cases, this is what your career is. It's not who you are.
Right.
And I'm shocked that you'd be a Rock and Roll Express guy. I would have thought if you were a Four Horsemen fan, that you'd have despised them. And
I know my love for the Horsemen, diamonds are forever, and so is my love for the Four Horsemen. Okay, I mean, I was Four Horsemen from the time of the inception all the way up, even through the Paul Roma days of the Four Horsemen. But there was something just about you get caught up in the nostalgia and the cheering and something about the Rock and Roll Express that was. I haven't had the opportunity to meet Ric Flair either, so. That would probably trump meeting Ricky Morton. I'm just going to put that out there. No disrespect to Ricky Morton, who's a great competitor, but meeting Ric Flair would probably be the pinnacle.
Yes, I would think. Totally. So, and I love the segment that you do about men's, especially mental health, and I want you to dig a little deeper into that, because here's what I feel, and you can disagree. That's the great part about, opinions. But my opinion is, especially over the last 20 years, we have been told, not just as men, but as people in general, to really not express if we are feeling hurt or emotional, or especially men. It's like, well, then are you a wimp, or what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I totally agree that that's the perception that I think a lot of men have, that this isn't something that needs to be discussed. And I call it's a disease that a lot of men suffer from. And I call it SIS, suffering in silence.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think a lot of men will sit there, and the worst thing that you can say or that you can hear is when you ask someone, how are you doing? And they say, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are not fine.
No.
And so when we ask how you're doing, and when I ask someone, how are you doing? I don't want to hear I'm fine. I want to hear how you're doing. A lot of times we do it as a greeting and we do it as a gesture. And it's just, it needs to be more than that, because behind that fine is a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt that has gone completely and totally unchecked, just not really talked about and certainly not dealt with. And there's so many people that are suffering in silence. And I want to bring that to light, that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay if you're not okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay.
And hey, listen, if you're a man and you're watching this, reach out to Jody or I. We'd love to talk to you, pray with you, because we know the answer. It's not us.
Mm-mm.
It's Jesus Christ. And sometimes, and I'll tell you, as someone who's been a Christian a very long time, there are times even where letting go and letting Christ have my problems can be very difficult, because, well, I'm a man, I should be able to handle these things.
Well, yeah, and not only that, I think some Christians also get frustrated because they feel like they've cried out, and in their world, in their mind, nothing's happened. Like God's ignoring them, because we also have in our mind how we want things to go, how we want things to be fixed. And that may not be God's plan. That may not be the way God wants it fixed. In fact, it may be that we have trauma, or we are suffering, or we're dealing with things our entire life. I mean, you think about the Apostle Paul, who always talked about his affliction, or the thorn in his side, right? So the Bible never says that that was taken away, but what God can do and what God will do is give you strength and courage to deal with what you're going through, and maybe not necessarily remove it, but it is a way for you to move forward in a way that not only strengthens your testimony and really brings forth a story that you can share with others about God's love, but also brings you out of this state of feeling helpless, feeling like you're in a hole. Listen, I've been in that hole, Rob. I have been there. I've been up to here in the hole, feeling isolated, alone. And that's what the devil tries to do. He isolates us. When we get this feeling, it wants to just compound by isolating us and pulling us away from everyone that we love. That's why part of depression, one of the symptoms of depression, is losing interest in the things that you're passionate about. And that happens, and it's real, and it's happened to me as well. And that's part of Satan's way of trying to pull us away. But he does not have the power to do that. He doesn't. He has the power to whisper. He can whisper in your ear. I told someone a few weeks ago, think about going back to the garden. In fact, I think I said it on Falls County, where you go back to the garden. The serpent did not hand the apple to Eve. What did the serpent do?
He
whispered in the ear.
Yep.
Right? Satan doesn't have the power to empower you to make those choices. So we always have the choice to lean on God and to pull ourselves away from the lies of the world. And that's what I want. That's really what I want coming out of Falls Count Anywhere. And the reason we named that, Falls Count Anywhere, and it's a wrestling connotation to it, right? The Falls Count Anywhere match. So you have to tie the wrestling in. But it really comes from Romans 3:23, and that's, we all fall short of the glory of God. And those falls count, right? They count against us in our heads. It can really mess with our minds that we keep failing. That's why I wanted to call it Falls Count Anywhere, because while they do count, God redeems those falls. He picks us up. Psalms 40 says he lifts us out of the miry clay and sets our feet upon a rock. And that's what he does for us.
That is awesome. Hey, buddy, it's been great having you with us today. Falls Count Anywhere, Monday night, 7 Eastern time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then replays throughout the week. You just have to catch Jody whenever I say so. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you being with us.
Rob, thanks a lot, buddy. I've enjoyed it.
Hey, we'll see you soon. We'll be back after this.
Social media today is noisy, divided, and too often hostile to Christian values, a place where truth is twisted and faith is often silenced. What if there was a place for believers where you could share your story, grow in your faith, and be encouraged every day? Introducing Acts Social, the #1 Christ-centered social platform built to unite Christians worldwide in truth, hope, and love. Share your faith openly. Discover powerful, uplifting content. Join prayer groups. Encourage others. Find news and events from a biblical worldview all in one place. And do it all free from big tech censorship, invasive tracking, and endless ads. Because the body of Christ was never meant to be scattered. It was meant to be together, every day, everywhere. ActsSocial.com, the fastest growing platform for Christ-centered connection. Join us and be part of something eternal.
Hey, the great folks at Acts Social. You know what? We believe in it so much that Abundant TV is one of the corporate sponsors. Go to Acts TV. Really, Rob? Axe Social. Maybe Axe TV would be different. Axe Social, and find us. We would love to have you as part of it. In fact, Abundant Group is the #1 fastest growing group on Axe Social, along with great folks like Hobby Lobby and Chick-fil-A. Abundant TV has we really believed in this. I met Sean about 5 months ago, and we want to be a part of this. And so Kristen and I stepped out and became a corporate sponsor for Act Social. It's ACTS social.com. And I believe you still have to be invited. So you can do that by putting in either the promo code ATV, which is Abundant TV, or Abundant TV, and they will get you signed up. Remember to follow me and follow Kristen and the Abundant Group all, and we have a good time over there. It is, if social media has changed for you and you go, I want to go somewhere where there are people that think like I do, it is a great place to go. actsocial.com. And hey, listen, this is an interesting thing. A couple of stories football wise, and then we're going to get out of here. Tom Brady tonight on the football game, Vegas versus the Chargers, is going to make a big announcement. He made a big announcement that he was going to make a big announcement. Do you ever wonder about people that make a big announcement about a big announcement? I don't know. Just to me, Tom Brady tonight, Chargers, Raiders. I have a feeling the Chargers are going to win. That's just my thing. Also, if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, Joe Burrow has turf toe. They say it, though it's initial stuff. They're saying that it's a severe turf toe and could require surgery, and he could be out for as much as 3 months. And that's tough stuff for him. And he's one of those guys that I always feel sorry for, because he just really has had challenges with his health and with staying healthy. By the way, and this is the final thing for today as we get out of here, it is National Double Cheeseburger Day. I think that's worth celebrating anywhere. National Double Cheeseburger Day is September 15th. It is something that I can get fully behind and enjoy a good double cheeseburger. I have not, in our research, and I want to be very honest, there are several places you can get specials for double cheeseburgers. I didn't want to list them all because it would have taken like about half the show. So check your favorite place to go get a double cheeseburger. It's National Double Cheeseburger Day. Where's the time gone? It just goes by way too fast every week. It is crazy to me that we do this first day of this week. Now I'm gone tomorrow. I'm going to be in Indiana. We're going to be sharing over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I'll be back Wednesday and Friday. And don't forget Thrive on Thursday with my buddy Jason Webb. We do that show. It's a lot of fun. Thanks to my guest, Jody Powell, for being with us. Remember, Falls Count Anywhere every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And a great show. And Jody has a great heart. Appreciate him so very much. Hey, listen, go out, enjoy the rest of the day. This has been your morning break.